Hi all! Today I'm going to show you how to use the app Citymapper most efficiently and successfully. Okay, let's begin. Let's go inside the app. So if you haven't got the app yet, just download it. And so here we go. I'm going to show you my screen over here. The easiest way to get started, so there's a lot of options here which we'll go through in a minute, but really the most important one is when you see get me somewhere, you just click on it, and in this case it says start because I have my I'm not showing where I currently am for the purpose of this video, but you can allow Citymapper to access your address and then you don't have to put start. So let's just say I'm in King's Cross and I'm wanting to go to Euston. So I put this in and then Citymapper shows me all the different ways to get there. So I could walk for 11 minutes, which I probably do, or I could use the tube, I could use the bus, or I could use a different tube. So basically, when you go down, you can see all the different options and it tells you how long they will take on the right hand side. But another really important bit, you can see here what you're going to pay for each journey. Obviously if you walk you're not gonna pay anything except for 45 calories. And then £2.70 if you use the tube and £1.75 if you use the bus. Important information if you don't know. If you're using the bus, you can use the bus for 1 hour without paying extra for any of the other buses that you use. During that hour, I can't remember if it's exactly 60 minutes or if it's 59 minutes, or you can look that up, but about 1 hour. If you're going to different places that are not too far, because bus journeys can take a long time in London, particularly in the afternoon during peak hours when kids get out of school, everybody gets out of the office. That's not really a good time to go on the bus, but otherwise, depending on the length of your journey and where you're going, it might be a good idea because it is cheaper. And then the other thing is, like, if it was me and I just wanted to get from King's Cross to Euston, that's the only journey I want to do today, then I would walk, unless I have luggage, although might still walk. No, yeah, that's up to you. Or if it was just one journey that I'm taking that day and I really don't want to walk, I would use the bus. Now, if I'm taking various journeys that day, it's a different story because you will never pay more than a daily card. So let's say zone 1 and 2. The daily card, I think currently is £8.10 if I'm not wrong. So no matter how many journeys I do in one day in zone 1 and 2, then it would not be more than that. So that's kind of how I go by. Let's have a look at what else there is. So there's a Get Me Home feature. You need to go to the right to places, and you can save all your places, or you can just save your home address, your work address. I've saved quite a few places because it's much easier when you want to go somewhere and you just press whatever the address is where you're going, and then it doesn't take you a long time to find it, but you don't have to do that, obviously. I'm not going into my places because I've got all my addresses saved there and I don't want to share them with YouTube. But those features you can use as soon as you saved places in places, that star symbol. And then below that, I'm not going to go into it too much. You can explore a bit, but all basically means it'll show you all the different transport options in your area. walk will show you like where you are and how long it'll take, like what's within a 5-minute walk and so on and so forth. If you want to cycle, it'll show you what sort of bicycles are in the area that you can rent. Buses, tube, rail, like this is if you want to know specifically only what buses are there, only what tube options are there, only what rail stations are there. This is actually quite a good feature, the rail one, because the next tip I'm going to give you in terms of saving money is if you want to take a journey outside of London, and let's say your journey starts in King's Cross, but you're starting in Waterloo. So the reason I'm bringing up Waterloo and King's Cross is because they're both rail stations. So if you start your journey from a rail station, but it's not the rail station that your train leaves on, and you need to take a tube or some other kind of public transport, if you then get the ticket from that station, in that case Waterloo, most of the time you'll pay the same price in total as if you had bought your ticket in King's Cross. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because you save the money that you would have paid on your Oyster or on your debit card between Waterloo and King's Cross or wherever you're going. So that's something I've learned. And the other thing I want to mention is that if you travel between 7 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and then in the afternoon 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. those are the peak hours, so you will pay more money during those hours. But if you don't need to travel during these hours, or you have a little bit of flexibility, then this little piece of advice might help you. So let's say you travel every day at 7 a.m. Could you leave 5 minutes before? Because then you would pay off-peak. If you get on the train or tube within the London zones, just minutes, same in the afternoon. Let's say you get on the tube 2 minutes before 4 p.m. You will only travel 2 minutes during off-peak hours, and then you'll go into peak, but you'll pay off-peak. And that's something that I also often try to remind myself of. Then, the other piece of advice I wanted to share about Citymapper, if you go longer journeys, let's say you're going from an address somewhere in South London and you're going to an address somewhere in North London, and both journeys need a bus ride at either end and then train or tube in the middle. What Citymapper often does is give you the bus in the beginning and then the tube or the train, and then it tells you to walk. But most of the time, that's not really the case. If you refresh the page as you get further to your destination, you will then get a bus option. I mean, obviously only if there is a bus on that route. But you can actually check that ahead of time. If you use Citymapper, you zoom into the address where you're going and you click buses, then you can see if there are buses going to that address. And if you know that, then you could actually wait till where Citymapper gets you, and then just go back to Citymapper, put the address in again, and then it'll show you the bus. Unless you want to walk. But that's usually what I do. Sometimes I also just go into the maps feature and I just have a look myself and see what I think is the best way. Because just because Citymapper is such a good feature doesn't mean that they always know what's best. Or if I need to change somewhere and it's a long walk between tube lines, then I might go into maps and I have a look. Is there anywhere else I could change that Citymapper is not showing me? And I just try it. And a lot of the time that is actually a better option. For example, there was a time I always finished work at 7 o'clock and I needed to be somewhere at 7:30. And the route that Citymapper gave me always brought me to the destination at 7:40, 7:45. But when I went into the map and I had a look and I tried a different change, I managed to always be there at 7:30, just because of if it's like a really big station, the walk from one tube line to the other can be quite long. So not having to do that walk or a shorter walk can actually make a difference to your journey. So that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want more videos, subscribe to my channel, and I see you next time. Bye!